Welcome to Ladies Who Lore, the only podcast that dives deep into urban legends and bottles of wine. We're your hosts, Jesse,
Sammy,
and Lindsay. Now fill up your glasses, gather around the fire, and let's lore. Welcome to the first ever episode of Ladies Who Lore.
Oh my
How
gosh.
are we doing?
Good.
Excited.
Sorry.
Oh, you brought a goat with you today.
Yeah, actually his name is Lou, short for Van Leeuwen's, the ice cream.
Should he be the mascot of Ladies Who Lore?
Obviously.
Lou, are you up for a job? He
Wow.
says,
I think that's good. We'll have to get him on the Instagram.
you'll probably never hear about Lou again.
No, that is
have a hunch.
100% sure. We will forget. Anyway, we are gearing up for spooky season, and I could not be happier. I'm going to do all of the spooky things. I want to go to haunted hay rides. I want to go apple picking, which I guess is not really spooky, but
But it's still fall.
yeah.
I want to do fall things.
Spooky season encompasses all of fall. The harvest
We can
and
make
everything
it
else.
spooky if we need to.
That's so true. We could pretend someone's chasing us in the apple
Exactly.
orchard. Wait, love.
When you're out alone in the trees, things can get eerie regardless.
That's true. Well, I brought a spooky tale today that I'm really excited to share.
I cannot
Starting
wait.
off spooky. I love it.
Yes, I figured since it's October, I wanted to start off with like a classic, but also just a spooky.
Ooh.
Before I dive into it, does anyone have any stories they want to share?
I was recently serendipitously in Salem, Massachusetts.
What? How did I not know this?
Well, so I was in New York because I spend a lot
That
of
makes
time in New
sense.
York, as you know, and I decided in the time that I was in New York, I was going to go to Boston to visit a friend, and we were thinking about going apple picking, but we realized that we don't have a car or a way to do that.
Rough.
So we looked around on the mainline trains and thought maybe we could find a farm near one of the train stops, but we quickly saw Salem.
That's so cool.
And we were like, we should be spending our time there in spooky season.
What was it like? Were there
It
witches?
was incredible.
Really?
I think everyone should go during October at some point in their lives.
They
I feel
dress
like
up.
Yeah.
Yes, people dress up, but also there are just like endless, Salem has witchy stores and all this cool like stuff built into the economy, but then the town is descended upon by both fans and sellers of wares. So you get up and down streets, tents of crafts and potions and anything you could imagine. People who will tell your future. Like, it is incredible. The entire square, Village Green, is also set up as like a giant market for that stuff.
Did you get your future told?
I didn't get my future told, but I did come back with a really cool pagan calendar that was painted it's right over there actually in my apartment.
Oh!
Of
Was it
all of the
beautiful?
little holidays of the year, the Wheel of Life or whatever it's called.
Wow.
And I love it because it shows the moon phases
That's
as well.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a good story.
Thank you. I recommend it. If you're
Salem.
looking for something spooky, Salem is incredible. And also just a really great place with a lot of creative women who
love.
it just feels like a very safe place to be.
So the ladies are going to Salem.
The ladies are going to Salem.
That's what I'm hearing.
If we make enough money from this podcast, we're going to spend it all on one
First
trip to
trip to
Salem.
Salem.
So everyone, subscribe, tell
Please.
your friends, rate, review. I forget what everyone says, but that's please. Thank you.
Send us to Salem!
We start a freaking GoFundMe. All right. Well, I think we should get into it.
I think we should.
I brought a bottle of wine.
So before we get into the lore of today, we wanted to introduce the concept of the wine. Jessie brought us a special wine today because she'll be telling a special story.
Mm-hmm.
But we decided to gamify it because of course we did.
Obviously.
I like to gamify anything I
have
do. And the idea of the game is that Jessie's brought us a bottle of wine that matches the concept of the story she's telling. And we're not connoisseurs enough to like taste the wine and get the story. We're really just looking at the label here.
We're visual learners.
Yeah. So Jesse's going to share the label, the name with us, and we're going to see if we can come up with any ideas as to what is going on.
Okay, ladies. So I brought a Masseria Serrani.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Italian?
I assume Italian. It's a 2020. What?
Oh no.
Oh, no. Big year.
Yeah.
So please describe to me what you see.
Okay.
Wow, pretty.
There is a woman in the foreground.
Yeah, she's wearing a red dress.
She has black hair.
She has a flower in her hair with gold sparkles.
Mm-hmm. There's a city behind her.
She is closing her eyes. I feel like she's pensive and or sad.
Sure. There's an orangey red sky. That's gorgeous.
She has a heart. She has a heart drawn over her chest. Is there anything else of note before I already have a guess?
You already have a guess?
It's probably because I don't know a lot of urban lore, but I do know a lot of folk lore.
Ooh.
I feel like I'm not the person here for like the legend, the you know, the horror and true crime of it all, but I do like the magic.
Okay.
And so my guess is maybe this has something to do with La Llorona.
That was my guess.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Just because it's a lone woman, I don't know if anyone knows the story of La Llorona, but it's a lone woman who lures people to their deaths. / weeps, right?
She does weep.
She does.
That's
She's
true.
her. So I don't know. That's my guess. That's the only guess I have.
Well, that was also my guess. But to switch it up, I am going to go with... I forgot what they're called. They're like shapeshifters.
You're both wrong.
Aww.
To be fair, I had a really hard time finding a wine that had to do with what I was doing today. But I love the noticing of the woman and the red, some could say.
Mm-hmm.
And if this red were to symbolize something else, with the red wine as well, it is a red.
Oh, we
red.
didn't talk about the wine, any of it, really.
Well, one could think of blood.
Blood.
And if this woman were to have a name, I would name her Mary.
Oh!
Today, we're starting with Bloody Mary.
Dun, dun, dun. Shall we clink, ladies? Tastes much better than blood.
Ooh. That's good.
That is actually really good.
It's really good.
So, today I'm going to tell you about the history behind the classic legend of Bloody Mary. And I'm going to be honest, saying her name, as much as I'm going to, is going to freak me out, but we are not near any mirrors.
Nope.
So I think we're okay.
Can I just give a side note weird fact?
Please.
Love it.
I used to say that in the mirror all the time.
Lindsay.
Because I just, wanted something fun to happen. Anything.
Did it?
Nothing ever did. So you might be safe.
Oh.
I don't know for sure. Maybe don't try it. I
Still
won't.
spooky.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe after we learn the tale behind her, we just have to go into the bathroom and do it. And I will shit myself. So just be prepared.
Check the bathroom.
So, the legend of Miss Mary. There are tons of iterations of how this tale goes, but the one I know and love is if you go into the bathroom and stand in front of the mirror with no lights on, say her name 3 times and she'll appear behind you and claw your eyes out.
Oh.
Other versions include her turning your hair gray, making you disappear, her just straight up haunting you. The mirror can bleed. Have you guys heard of any of these iterations?
Yeah, a few
Yeah,
of them.
I think so.
I've never heard of the turning hair gray, though.
Yeah. I hadn't either.
Was that the only thing that in that iteration?
Honestly, not a bad thing to have.
That's old.
You're like,
Honestly, always wanted silver hair.
yeah, I don't have to go to the hair salon now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mary. So I hadn't heard of that one either.
Whoa.
But I feel like every middle school girl did this during recess.
Yes.
Because I absolutely did. I was never brave enough to do the 3rd time. Clearly, Lindsay's the brave one out of this group. I
Or
don't
have
do
done it.
Or skip it.
Say. What if something had happened?
I think I've done it and didn't have all the lights off fully because I was too afraid.
You're like, I believe.
I'll do it a little bit, but not fully.
I remember I had 2 friends. They were my besties, Eden and Sophie, and they would go in
pretty much every recess and say the Bloody Mary thing. And they were so brave. I would wait outside, and they would come. Like, I'd hear a sharp scream from the bathroom, and they'd come running out, and they'd be like, we saw her. And I was like, this is fact. She is there, and I will never. I, like, honestly didn't go into that bathroom for a very long time. I was scared as fuck.
I wouldn't have gone in there either if I heard that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there isn't a horror movie about.
I think there probably
is. There? I mean, I'm not well versed, but I don't know if you guys saw Candyman.
No.
I didn't see it, but I saw it seen on TikTok, where the kids go into the bathroom and they say Candyman, and they do a similar sort of thing. And then Candyman does, in fact, show up, and it's a whole...
And he turns your hair gray?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Among other things. So, while the most common way to summon Miss Mary is saying her name 3 times, other people believe that the iterations can include Mary, I have your baby, which is kind of fucked up, and I don't believe in Mary Worth. So
I've heard that one.
Yes.
The baby thing. Did she have...
We'll talk about it.
Okay, great.
No
I'm
spoilers.
excited. Yeah.
So Mary Worth was a woman in the 1860s who lived in Chicago. Yeah. She was kind of a fucked up person. And she participated in the reverse Underground Railroad.
Oh.
The reverse?
No.
Yes, which I didn't know was a thing.
Me either.
No.
So it's basically her tricking slaves that escaped into going back to the South, or just keeping them, torturing them, and killing them.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, it was also said that she was into the dark arts, and she would torture and kill captured slaves for ritualistic purposes. And much like all white people ever, the town sort of kind of ignored her.
Sure.
Yeah,
Classic.
so cute.
Wow.
But I don't know what happened. Eventually, the town decided to hang her on her property.
Okay, well,
Okay.
no. Karma
That's-
is my boyfriend, so...
So there are a few conflicting beliefs about where she ended up being buried. I'm going to choose to believe the theory that she was buried on her property, since, like, witchy shit in that era, or, like, being evil, you couldn't be buried on sacred ground like a cemetery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was, like, tainting
You were, like,
the...
too witchy.
Yeah, too witchy.
Yeah.
Your neighbors would be like, ugh, too witchy.
Cool. Exact quote.
Yeah, that's a quote from the dead. You're welcome. So, allegedly, her grave was marked with just like a big stone. This comes into play later. I bring it up right now. Years later.
Flawless transition.
Thank you so much. Her property was being remodeled, which is something I made up to justify why there were workers working there.
Oh.
But allegedly, they found the stone, which is unmarked, and they decided to remove it, because why wouldn't you remove it, right?
Well, they didn't know.
But they should have. So, classically, after this happened, can we guess what happened?
1 second. I have a bug in my
Oh,
glass,
no.
and I want to get rid of it.
It's protein.
Yum, 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 yum.
It's alive still.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Do you
no,
want to
get
get
rid
a
of it.
spoon?
I want to help it.
Yeah, please
okay.
do.
Well, it's gonna die either way.
Yeah.
No, it could be drunk.
Yeah. Drunk.
Yeah.
Out of here, man.
Nice.
Be free.
It's
It's
dead.
dead.
No, it's alive.
Lindsay saves a fly.
Bum, bum.
Okay. Are we ready? So, can we guess what happened?
She haunted it?
Ding, 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 ding.
I
A ghostly bell in the distance. Yeah, hauntings started happening, like classic horror movie shit.
In that area, or like
On that property. So when they
on the
remodeled
property,
it,
cool.
crazy shit started happening. Do we have guesses of what happened?
a woman appeared, and she was somewhat creepy and violent
Okay.
towards the workers.
Sam?
I would guess creepy and violent towards the workers as well. Maybe, like, destroying some of the things they were trying to build.
Yeah, I love it. These are good. Yeah, shortly after, dishes were being thrown.
Oh.
And then the house burned down twice.
Well,
Right? I'm not an expert, but I figure if a house burns down twice,
Yeah.
maybe let's not rebuild it.
do you know how soon the fire was at all?
I don't.
Okay.
Maybe they
But
thought-
still, twice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sign.
You
Yeah.
would think.
But maybe they were like, oh, you know, the house burned down. She must be gone now.
I don't think they knew about her.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah, they did remove
we're working under the assumption that
they
just moved this stone. They didn't know it was a gravestone.
Yeah.
They were just sort of like, fuck it.
And then they're like, again?
Aww.
Oh no.
Weird. What a money pit.
What a money pit. Yeah, you think at that part people would be like...
You'd think capitalism would solve it.
Capitalism solves everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
No, that's not true. Anyway, by most accounts, though, Maryworth never existed. It's just a cute little urban legend that cropped up sometime in the 60s and the 70s. So, since Maryworth never existed, allegedly, a lot of people speculate that Bloody Mary is a nod to an actual historical figure named Elizabeth Bathory, otherwise known as the first female vampire.
I know her.
Fun.
Yeah,
I have heard of her. Oh, that's cool.
I know it's like not okay to say that she's cool, but she's kind of cool.
But she's kind of cool.
The
The idea of it.
I think being the first female anything is a cool thing.
Correct.
Sorry. That's not true.
So by Jesse's logic, I can go be the first female.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm trying to think of something problematic.
No,
Let's not.
Totally.
Okay. We'll say we did.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth's reign of terror took place in Slovakia in the late 1500s. She's known as the Blood Countess, which, fun.
Great name.
So she would capture and sadistically torture and murder young women, which is not fun.
No.
And then...
Thanks.
You ready?
No. Yes.
Yes.
She would bathe in their blood.
Oh.
Now, do we know why she did that?
Oh, well, isn't that what the folks are doing nowadays? It's like if you bathe in
Literally.
the blood, it's for youth.
Yeah, vampire facials.
Yeah.
It's like a thing.
Yeah, we live in LA, and so it's the center of the whole harvesting the blood for eternal youth.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I hate to corroborate that immediately. but
no, it is
yeah.
the best skincare routine of the 16th century.
Apparently so.
Yeah. They didn't have Sephora. No drunk elephant. You know,
Yeah.
what is a girl gonna do?
Yeah.
I can't blame her.
The blood of innocence.
Beautiful. Bottle it, sell it. Baby, we're in. No, that's not
We
funny.
do not condone this, by the way.
Don't do that. That's not good.
Okay.
So she thought it would keep her young forever. And like you said, we kind of do that today in our vampire facials, but we do use our own blood for that. I say we. I've never gotten one.
I've never gotten one.
Nor will I probably ever.
Okay.
No.
But I think it is good for the skin, so she was kind of onto
Probably.
something.
Yeah.
So it's alleged that Bathory claimed the lives of anywhere between 100 and 650 young girls, and was the inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Question.
Yeah.
It was always young girls specifically? Oh.
She wanted their youth.
Right.
So she killed so many young women that it's said she moved on to other villages when she ran out of girls to kill. Which is like, how the fuck did no one stop her?
Yeah.
Right? How do you not revolt against someone who's like literally taking your children from the streets?
Probably didn't know what ended up happening to them.
You think? You think it's
If
just
I
like,
were running like a giant ring of this and I'm a countess, right? Then I feel like I would tell the parents and people that they were coming to work in my castle, right? And then I'd get months to years where I could be like, they're not, they can't come home, whatever. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, it's old-timey, so you're not going to talk to your child for very long. You're not going to, like, see them in person when they're gone.
True.
You'll just get a letter every once in a while that they're living it up, working as a chambermaid.
That's so fucked.
It makes sense.
Lindsay's like, actually, I know what I'm going to do now.
Yeah. But don't do that, is what.
Yeah, we at Ladies Who Lore advise against that.
Yep.
You couldn't if you wanted to nowadays.
Yeah, no one really like sends their children.
To work.
I mean, maybe though.
I mean,
But also,
they do.
phones are so easily accessible now that you'll have that easy
You like
access
expect
to the
to
child.
get some live conversation,
Right.
whether in person or over. a
Yeah,
phone,
I guess
right?
not easily accessed, but
Yeah, but I think that like you probably expect a phone call, right? Which you know now with deep fakes, I guess you could start doing it again.
With what?
But, like you could deep fake a phone call with your kid.
deep fake.
You don't know what a deep fake is?
Uh-uh.
Weird. A deep fake is like an AI generated either voice or like voice and face. This is coming for us all.
I don't like it.
We didn't know. Oh, I have deep fakes to show you. They're already out there.
Oh no.
Of real people?
Yes.
Oh no.
This is like a
They're
thing.
gonna take over.
I'm sorry, this is a tangent, but like,
No, we love tangents.
gee, maybe I'll go into like AI speculative fiction with my urban legend and explain deepfakes to this crew.
Did you just say G?
Golly gee.
Yeah. And what of it?
No, nothing. Anyway,
Yeah.
I would like to say that, and this is an embarrassing thing about me.
Oh no.
In high school, we had to pick an historical figure to silently act out. And I, being the rebellious one that I thought I was, picked Elizabeth Bathory. Yeah. So I, like... I don't even know what I did, but I know that it couldn't have been appropriate.
I do
for
have
high
a
school.
vivid memory of this somehow.
Really? And no one guessed it.
No.
Everyone thought I was like a makeup person. And I was like, sorta.
Because the vampire face.
Yeah, because I was like putting blood on my face. But why would you think vampire?
It was a bit rough.
Thank you. Look, we know I'm a weirdo. Get over it, and let's move on.
Over it.
Let's move on.
So, lastly, the most, and probably like, well, yeah, most historically accurate, people know Bloody Mary to be Queen Mary the First of England. So this is the other...
This is the one that I thought for a long time.
Yeah, so it's also speculated that Bloody Mary of the Mere is Queen Mary.
Yeah.
The first. So she was, as the Smithsonian says, quote, the first woman to rule England in her own right who didn't simply inherit the throne but seized it with unprecedented ambition, end quote. Which I feel like if anyone was to have a quote about themselves, that's a pretty nice quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you disagree?
No, I'm always hyper aware of these, like, would they have said unprecedented ambition about a man?
Oh, no, absolutely. And we'll dive into that.
Well,
Okay, great.
Yeah, that
a
for
separate
sure
thing.
comes up.
Great.
So, however, centuries later, she would be remembered as one of the most evil figures in history with the nickname of Bloody Mary. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so we're going to do a quick little history lesson. So, Mary Tudor was born to Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, the first Catherine, if you've seen the musical Six.
Great music.
No, 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 no.
She gets it.
That's a song she sang.
It is. They obviously wanted a boy, so she was off to a bad start in life, being born a woman. But she quickly grew to be a beloved princess in the public's eye. But because her dad was like a massive asshole, as we know, he soon divorced, which is that the first divorce ever?
It was like the first because this is like what broke the Church of England, right? So I think it wasn't the first divorce, but it was the first divorce in like Catholicism, because they were Catholic.
Yeah,
she was Catholic.
Yeah,
and then Henry VIII was like, I'm gonna divorce my brother's wife because under the guise that like she had already slept with his brother and therefore they could never have sons or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like they were like, oh, it says so in Leviticus, because if you lay with your brother. Anyway, the point is, it created the Church of England.
Yes.
Right.
Because they could no longer be Catholic.
Yes. And he wanted to fuck Anne Boleyn.
Well,
yeah. No, that's
Also,
the
yes.
reason.
So, I mean, she was a hottie. So, yeah, in doing so, he broke off from the Catholic Church and sort of spearheaded the new religion.
Yeah, Anglican.
I would like to say I'm not a researcher. I didn't check any of this. I genuinely wrote down what I remembered from Six.
Yep.
So, musicals educate. So, Mary was now downgraded from a princess to a lady. Sad. But later she was welcomed back into the court by accepting her dad's divorce and his role as a new religious leader. And I imagine her being like a teenager, being like, oh, fine, Dad. Like, I'll recognize your divorce and whatever. Can I go to my room? Like,
Dude.
she's like sassy.
She saw it all. Like,
Yeah, she fucking knew.
She got it.
She was like, this is crazy.
She's like, can I have my cell phone back? So shit goes down pretty immediately after that. Her half-brother tried to usurp her title of in line for the throne, but she was like, fuck that, and fuck you, and chose to stay in England and fight for her right to the throne, which is
good for her.
Pretty admirable.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it was especially dangerous for her to do, for many reasons that we don't have to get into, but you could probably think of.
Sure.
She gets so demonized in history, and I just feel like that's not fair.
I agree. I totally agree.
Like, she just going for her birthright.
Yeah,
Right,
seriously. She was a badass who, like, was going after what she deserved and was, born for, literally.
Right.
Yeah.
And she quickly gained public support and became queen, which is a beautiful story. But then, sentiments start to change. She was pretty decent queen, but she was so focused on the Catholic Church. Like, she fucking loved religion, which raised the red flag. And what does a devoted Catholic queen do? No guesses?
Well, I want to guess, but I Catholics can be great too. They go kill Protestants.
Hell yeah! She orders 280 Protestants to burn at the stake for being heretics.
280.
Yes.
Whoa.
280.
That's a lot.
Well, I'm sure she had a good reason.
Correct. She wanted them to have. She wanted them to have a taste of hellfire.
So in her mind, a great reason.
Wait, that's why?
Yeah, she wanted them to taste hellfire, therefore giving them a chance to denounce their religion and save their souls. It was
so she was gonna let them. She was gonna get them out of the fire if they didn't.
She was gonna sear them. Yeah.
Oh my
She was
gosh.
just gonna a light sear.
Yeah, like a how you want your steak. That's what she would do.
light sear.
Yeah.
Oh, oof.
Yeah, she wanted to
Like
char
a good
them.
medium rare.
Yeah, and give them a cute little preview into their future.
Oh, awful.
Fun.
Awful.
Yeah, and so because of this mass murder, she was nicknamed Bloody Mary.
Ooh.
But if we're being honest, it's all sexism because her dad killed somewhere between 57,000 and 72,000 people, including 2 of his wives during his reign, and no one said shit about it except that he was a womanizer and had a small dick. Like, that's the only thing that really lives on in history, which is...
That's so upsetting.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Oh my god.
Lindsay is fuming right now.
Nah, it's an old conflict, if we will.
Yeah, and unfortunately she gets demonized, which, killing 280 people is really fucked up.
She killed more people after that, or no?
Maybe.
Probably.
Who knows?
I would assume.
Yeah.
I would assume people.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it's interesting that we had talked about earlier the I have your baby taunt that you can do into the mirror, and this comes into play with Queen Mary. So Queen Mary announced that she was pregnant after 2 months after marrying, but the baby never came. And it was thought that she had a molar pregnancy, which, and I'm not a doctor, so this will be very simple explanation, but it's a super rare phenomenon where a cell cluster forms in your uterus, and it's essentially like you're pregnant but with no fetus. Or if there is a fetus, it's not viable because of the cluster, which unlocked a huge new fear for me.
Yeah. I had not heard of this until this moment. New fear. Unlocked.
The more you learn about pregnancy, the less fun it sounds.
Yeah, there's a girl on TikTok who has a running list of
I know, the list girl. Yeah, she's great.
why not to get pregnant. It's like she's at like 300 or something right now.
And it'll just keep going.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that's really scary.
Yikes.
So taunting her with like having her baby or stealing her baby in the mirror, like I get why she'd want to kill you through the mirror. I totally get it. That's really fucked up. So now we should explore why the nickname Bloody Mary stuck for Queen Mary throughout history. And it's what Lindsay said, it's probably because people love to vilify women, especially women in power who obtained their power through persistence and a fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is interesting, but like,
Elizabeth came after her, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, who had one of the longest reigns. And I always found it very interesting that Elizabeth was known as the Virgin Queen. Like, and it was, her virginity was, like, heralded. They were like, she's such a good person. She's a virgin.
She's
very
pure.
Virgin Mary, right? And then bloody, right? Like, is the other half of that, this, like, evil, violent woman who commits all sorts of sin. I don't know, it's wild.
The two also kind of, like, if we're thinking about women, the two go hand in hand of being, like, virginal versus, like, having your period, literally.
Right.
Of, like, bloody versus angelic and pure and virginal.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, like, such a gross way that we qualify women throughout history of those terms.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
So, how has the legend stuck around for so long, and why do so many people buy into it? Because there are millions of lore out there, but only a few have been so, like, renowned in culture and
Well known.
yeah, well known. So it seems kind of insane to have an apparition appear if you say its name 3 times or 13 times or however you want to summon her. But it is a common phenomenon that people have bought into for decades despite logic. And oddly, there is some science behind it. Through a study on patients with depression specifically, it was found that staring into a mirror in low lighting results in seeing apparitions of distorted faces. There was
What?
Have you heard the, like, look into a mirror in the dark to see what your past life looked like?
No?
Do it.
Wait, what do you mean? Can you explain?
Stare at yourself in the mirror long enough in the dark.
Okay.
Try and make out your face, and allegedly your face starts changing and morphing to show different past lives. It's a similar sort of, right, you're in low lighting, your brain is going to start
It's going to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's something you can do.
I feel like I'd see the devil.
My eyes are actually watering. That's so scary, though. Have you done it? Of course you have.
Wait, what'd you see?
A dancer.
You're a dancer!
Yeah, I know, it's kind of
Whoa.
wild. But, like, a dancer, like, I looked it up because I was looking for the specific form of folk dance, because I, like, recognized sort of, like, it was a more Indonesian sort of folk dance from, I don't know, some sort of other time.
Lindsay's very into, like, past lives and connecting with them, which is really cool. I'm sure we'll hear a bunch of stories throughout.
Maybe. Anyway, so you can do that. That's a fun thing you can do.
That is really cool. There was also a neuroscience study, according to the BBC, that found humans have a fascination with faces and often look to find a face within inanimate things like cars, food. Like, Pixar has made bank on this very phenomenon, obviously. So while most people might not actually see the Bloody Mary, odds are if they're expecting to see something, they're wanting to see something, and they stare long enough into a dimly lit mirror, they may see some sort of distorted face, and their brain will make the connection because it wants to be scared.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Which is how crazy we, like, love to scare ourselves as a society.
Actively search
It's like
it
an
out.
adrenaline, dopamine hit. Right?
Yeah.
Both of them. It's just like...
I have a friend who does one of those Halloween things where you, like, get kidnapped, you get tased, you do all that stuff.
This Halloween thing?
Yes, so
There's a few.
Happens during Halloween time, I'm pretty sure only, where you pay for this.
You pay to get kidnapped?
You pay to get kidnapped and fucking tortured because people love the thrill of escape, of terror, and all this stuff. And you have to sign waivers being like, you can touch me and I'm fine. Like, if I have to go to the hospital, like, whatever. Isn't that
So
crazy?
you're spending your money on being traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
This economy?
actually horrifying.
I'm already traumatized for free!
Honestly, true. So, transition.
What a great transition, Jesse. Yeah, I'm going to be writing the transition music. We can cut that later.
Can we use that?
I actually find that rude.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry, we don't need
to.
We have it.
I think with... Shut up.
The wine is strong.
And the vibes are too.
Anyways.
Okay, deep breath, everybody.
I think with these legends, too, there's always the thought in the back of everyone's mind of, what if? What if it's all true? And what if, despite everything that makes sense to me, a bloodied woman will come through my mirror and try to harm me.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it the most fascinating is the what if.
Yeah, what if I'm the person?
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Why did this urban legend start in the first place? Maybe it happened. We don't know. Maybe it didn't, maybe it did.
True.
I'd love to know where it got started with the, mirror of it all, right?
Yeah, well,
did someone look in the mirror and die? Or did that just sort of, get connected to it because...
I think so. There was a huge crop up of these urban legends in, the 80s. Or, late 70s and 80s. And I think a huge portion of it has to do with, unsupervised children trying to make fun. And that just makes me think of, older sibling being look in the mirror and do this. And she'll appear.
Yeah.
Mirrors are creepy.
Mirrors are scary.
They are, inherently creepy.
I agree. And I think there's a reason, Black Mirror is the title.
Wow.
And all that's... I know it has to do with technology, but still, you can see yourself in that mirror.
And distorted versions of yourself, I think, are even creepier.
You don't recognize yourself.
Yeah. It is... It makes sense. It's inherently creepy.
I'm still terrified of bathroom mirrors to this day.
Of bathroom mirrors?
Yes, specifically bathroom mirrors.
All bathroom mirrors?
All mirrors, but bathroom mirrors specifically, I am terrified of still to this day.
Have you guys seen Lock and Key?
No.
No.
First of all, good show on Netflix. It's about this family that lives in a house where a bunch of magic starts to occur from keys. But it's slightly horror and slightly fantasy.
Nice.
Great combo.
And there is a key that gets you, basically, if you use it in the mirror, your reflection tries to invite you into the mirror. Yeah. And then if you go into the mirror, you get stuck on the other side.
No, thank you.
It's great.
I don't want that.
I'm good. Thank you, though.
I
want to watch it, though.
Okay,
actually.
what would you guys do if you looked into a mirror and your mirror you...
Yeah. Smile.
Did something different?
I just got full body chills.
What would you do, honestly?
Scream.
I think,
or Frozen, actually.
I think in terms of, fight, flight, or freeze, I'm a freeze.
Yeah.
I think I'd fucking freeze. But then what does that mean? Could they reach out and get me? Who knows?
I think it would be a freeze and then realize what's happening and then run.
Okay, so I recently found out that there's another F. And I relate to it.
Another F?
Yeah, so it's fight, flight, freeze. And apparently also fawn. Which is basically you attempt to make yourself likable to this thing.
The ultimate people pleaser move.
Literally.
Yeah.
But it kind of, this is funny because I always, right, which is the reason I kind of did Bloody Mary. I always, when I got scared of something or thought there was a monster in my room or whatever, I would always try and talk to it and make friends with it.
I did that as well.
I would, try and negotiate or be look, I can see you, whatever, but, I'm not going to bother you, you don't bother me. There was... And I know that's not, really fawning, but, the tactic of, trying to make myself sort of ingratiated to this being is something, so I could totally see myself. If my reflection smiled at me, I feel like I'd be smile back.
You're hey, cutie.
Hey, cutie, looking good.
Love those pearly whites.
I see you, you see me, bite me.
Well, then it would, so.
Probably.
But, why not you?
But maybe it would be impressed with my... bravery and not. Yeah, that's anyway. That's
I've done
a
that
trip
as well.
into my
where you try to reason with it basically.
Yeah. I've always sort of felt like I wouldn't really be attacked by ghosts because I could make friends with them.
See, that's what I thought.
But that's the thing is you can't. We watch Ghost Adventures, right? And the thing that they say is you don't invite them in. And you being nice is inviting them in.
I think
you gotta be get back.
But it's hard to do that sometimes.
Totally.
I met a lovely ghost named Harold, and he was the nicest old man. And then immediately after meeting him, there was that more demonic presence that I still am terrified to this day of.
That will be a great story one day.
Oh, God.
Sammy made me start believing in a lot of things again.
Dude, Sammy feels things. I'm sure we'll pepper in those stories for good. Sure, but fucking A, man.
Yes, it's happened a few times, but this one, demonic presence was the most terrifying one I've ever experienced. But it's that thing where, you try to reason with it and you say you don't like feel like you'll be attacked by one at all. And I thought that as well until it happened.
Yeah, no, I'm sure.
Which is terrifying.
That, like, losing that sense of safety would be very scary.
Yeah, this is why I have many fears of the dark. But, you know, it's just one of them.
Who doesn't? So, continuing forward. So, who knows whether it's Mary Worth, Elizabeth Bathory, Queen Mary, or some other entity that people see in the mirror. Maybe we should go see for ourselves and say her name in the mirror tonight and see if you're one of the lucky or unlucky who are visited. And that is the legend of Bloody Mary.
Oh, thank you.
Jesse,
That was a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm
love-
sweating.
That was so much fun. It is pretty hot in here.
Wow.
Thank you for the lore and thank you for the wine.
You're welcome. I feel like we all gained a better understanding of Bloody Mary, especially in the way of, like, she's just a woman, and yeah, she might claw your eyes out, but she had a life too.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Can you tell I've been affected by this wine?
It wouldn't be a good podcast if you hadn't.
Amen.
Actually, that's not true. I don't want to put drinking pressure on anybody. It would still be a good podcast.
No, we're all about peer
but
pressure
we're having
here.
a bit of fun with this.
Drink up, bitches.
Cheers to Bloody Mary.
May she never visit us.
Literally.
I've tried.
Drink up, bitches.
Did you turn off the lights?
Oh yeah, I did everything. I have like a low grade sense of boredom always. Not right now, of course.
Yeah, okay, Lindsay.
Thanks, Lindsay.
No, not right now. But I think that, like, if I meet a ghost, that's cooler than not meeting a ghost tonight. Also, I like proving my bravery to myself.
Okay,
So,
I get
We
that.
do know this about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lindsay, she'll jump off a cliff.
She will.
Period.
No more to that sentence.
One thing you need to know about her, she'll jump.
Look,
But that's not always true because I think skiing is very dangerous.
oh, you're anti-ski, but pro-ghost?
Pro ghost, pro jump, anti ski.
Pro-cliff?
I have cliff jumped.
Oh,
So you
there
are
you
pro
go.
cliff.
Well, it was a baby cliff.
So that's still cliff. That's more cliff than I've cliffed.
You would love cliffing.
Should we make this a verb?
Cliffing?
Got a cliff.
Got a cliff. Bye.
Please feel free to reach out if you have any experience with Bloody Mary and want us to share it on our next show, or if you just have any suggestions, comments, or concerns.
Oh, no. And please like, subscribe, leave those little stars, hit number 5 if you liked it. If not, don't hit anything. Thank you.
We're just a couple girlies starting a podcast. We don't know what to expect, but we like talking.
Yeah.
And we love lore.
Hell yeah.
Love lore.
So, ladies, off to the bathroom.
Let's do it.
Ladies who lore! Ladies Who Lore is produced and edited by Jesse Vane, Lindsay Whistler, and Sammy Winchester. Music was created by Lindsay Whistler. Today's sources can be found in the show notes. Want some lore? Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Ladies Who Lore. And feel free to send your stories to ladieswholorepod@gmail.com.